All right, so dog poop.
Go
we
ahead.
actually,
Because you don't do that.
supporting
Like,
our
I have to
local
come up
business.
here to clean the dog poop.
Let's be supporting. This is where Pam got relatively stubborn. Supporting our local businesses, which is what we do here. We have a dog walker, and the dog walker was cleaning the poop out of the yard.
Yes.
Now, what would happen with my wife is that when the dog walker was coming on Monday at 9 o'clock to clean the poop,
No, she usually came later in the day. That's the problem.
Deb would go out at 8:30 and clean up the poop. So we were paying every. Hey, welcome to the She Said podcast. I am Pam Pryor, author, speaker, CFO, and I balance the books.
And I'm Deb Reinhardt. I am a Chopra certified life coach, meditation teacher, and most of the times I balance Pam.
So after 33 years, each week we're diving headfirst into life, business, and the beautiful chaos of it all.
With the occasional disagreement. Let's put it that way.
Lighthearted arguments. So let's see what pot we can stir today, Deb. I have one in mind.
Oh boy. Okay.
So we have been the last week and now for 2 more weeks, our daughter and husband and all of our normal pet sitting staff is out on the West Coast. We live on the East Coast. They're out on the West Coast visiting some friends.
Yes.
And
enjoying much cooler weather.
enjoying much cooler weather. And of course we have complications around animals because we have 3 dogs and our daughter has a dog and a cat.
Yes.
So we've decided, and
We have 3 dogs and a cat.
we have 3 dogs and a cat.
My daughter has a dog and a cat.
That's a problem. Yeah. So share a little bit about like what we're doing, like physically to make this all work.
Yeah. So, so we brought Orfeo. That's the black dog that you see here. This is our daughter's dog. He's perfect, right, Lindsay? Anyway, he hangs out here with the pack. So he came up here.
So we have 4 dogs at our house.
So now there are 4 dogs at the house. And I go down, and I've been living in the city. I've been the country girls living in the city. So I've been living in the city and hanging out with their cat and just kind of.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, the cat's got IBS, so needed some help. Needed somebody there. We wanted somebody there physically, so I get that.
That was good for him.
But I've realized 2 things.
What have you realized? Because I have also realized some things. So you tell me yours first.
Yeah, I get to go first.
Okay.
So the first thing is, in this, I don't know if this relates to last week or not, if we talked about it or not, but we were talking about how you like, if I finished that coffee, you'd come sweep that mug off the table and pop it in the dishwasher. I realized the only difference that makes it look like I don't do anything, I realized this morning, is that I batch do things. So this morning, I thought, okay, there's a number of things that have to be done here, like 8 of them. Cat litter, dog food, of course we have multiple different dog foods.
Yeah.
Because every animal's got to eat different foods
Special
for
food.
whatever freaking reason. But we needed to fill dog food bags, needed to get some trash out to there were like 8 things I needed to do. And I just batched them. But I batch them when everything gets to like empty, or like the sink is half full. So it's really not that I'm avoiding doing the things, but what happens is you do them before I ever get a chance to, because I batch clean and batch process.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's not what it is. I've come up here like now 3 times since the.
Well, there's been
since
nothing
they
to
left.
batch in that amount of time.
I walk into my bedroom, and it looks like a college dormitory. Like, you don't even bother to make the bed.
All right.
You leave the dogs' beds all over the place.
Let's have a conversation about that, though. So look, we get up in the morning.
Yes.
And
you make the bed.
Why? Right? This is that Admiral's speech. The Admiral's like, oh, the first thing you do is you make your bed. I love the Admiral, don't get me wrong. But like, why do I need to make my bed? All I'm going to do is get back into it. And I'm not going to be in the room all day. So who cares if it looks nice?
I care.
Why? If you're not going to follow my logic.
No, it's the same reason I come in, I have to yes, there were a couple dishes in the sink.
Like
put
2.
those into the dishwasher. The countertops needed to be wiped down. Who cleans the dog poop? Let's get into the dog poop.
All right. So, dog poop.
Go ahead.
We actually,
because you don't do that.
Supporting our
I have
local
to come
business.
up here to clean the dog poop.
Let's be supporting. This is where Pam got relatively stubborn. Supporting our local businesses, which is what we do here. We have a dog walker, and the dog walker as was cleaning the poop out of the yard.
Yes.
Now, what would happen with my wife is that when the dog walker was coming on Monday at 9 o'clock to clean the
No,
poop,
she usually came later in the
Deb,
day. That's the problem.
Deb would go out at 8:30 and clean up the poop. So we were paying every week to have the poop cleaned, and Deb would always beat the poop cleaner to it. So what I said was, we ain't paying for that shit anymore. And
Cool.
now the internal poop cleaner is complaining about poop, because here's the scoop, and this is, I'll bet you a lot of people have this issue. Poop has to be cleaned, right? It's got to be cleaned. And
Every day, Pam.
it's what, right?
You have
Fine.
4 dogs.
Fine. But listen, poop has to be cleaned. You can decide in your whole plethora of things. We are blessed and lucky.
Yes.
We can decide what things we want to do and what things we want to pay to have done, like doing the lawn. We pay to have the lawn cut.
Yes.
We pay to have the mulch put down. Blah, blah. We can pay to have the poop done. So this is very simply a matter of,
But
you
stop-
choose to
but
do it
you
yourself.
stop. I don't.
I
look,
choose
look,
to pay for it
The only times that I would do it myself. Let's be really honest.
every day.
No, it wasn't every day.
Because Tally's eating her poop. You went out every day.
When Tally goes
All
on,
dogs eat
when
their
she-
poop.
No, they do not. But when she goes on a
Ask
spree,
Lee Asher of Asher
don't-
House.
they
All
don't.
dogs eat their poop.
no, they don't. But when she goes on a little like binge that she wants to, then you have to be mindful. And I didn't do it all the time. Sometimes on Fridays I would do it early because the poop, she didn't come to clean before the lawn guy came.
Well, now here's the theory about the lawn guy.
No, it does not get chopped up with the trash. With the lawnmower. No,
They
it
use
doesn't.
mulching blades.
No, they
it
do
mulches
not.
it up and it
No.
turns it into
It
fertilizer.
does not. Pam,
Back in my day
Pam.
when I had dogs, my grass was a lot greener.
Pam, it does not.
saying.
It's because global warming, but we're not even going to go there. It has nothing to. It does not chop up the poop.
Okay,
It
so
does not.
Francis, we need a poll.
It smushes the poop.
We need a poll in the results.
Fine.
Do we let the lawnmower crunch up the poop?
No.
Or
You pick
do
up
we
your- you
clean
pick
the
up- you
poop?
clean up the
Just
poop.
one poll. We won't poll them on the.
Hi, baby.
We won't poll you all on the.
You have to clean it. Even if I were to conceive the lawnmower, which I cannot because it does not chop it up. It
Absolutely
does. Not. No, he runs it over, and then it flattens and squishes it into the grass, and then when you pull it up, then you pull up grass. But if I were even to give you the lawnmower, that's 1 day a week. What about the other days, Pam?
It fertilizes.
No, it does not. It is
People do not
ver-
clean their poop every day.
Yes, they
In fact,
do.
that's the thing. Do people clean their yard poop every day? Francis, that's what we want in the poll.
or every other day.
I would
No,
day.
I would even do it every other day. I don't do it every day because I'm not here. Now I do it every other day when I come up.
Well, that's only 3 weeks when you're here.
I don't do it every
I'm
single
just
day.
saying.
I don't.
Anyway, so that was one thing. I batch things, and I would clean the poop. I'm actually exaggerating. I would clean the poop probably once a week. I won't ever do it every day. It's just not going to
With
happen.
4 dogs, you have to do it more.
So
frequently.
but I think the batch versus the individual. Oh, Tracy's here for the other
I don't think that's
walkies. Did Diego go up? Or Faye, go for your
You
walk,
wanna go for
buddy.
your walk, buddy? Go on.
I think one of
Go
us may have to walk up with them. Go on, go for your walk.
Go for your walk, buddy.
Your
Yeah.
turn.
I got it. Come on, oh, let's go. Let's go take a walk. Come on. Come on, let's go. Let's get a walk. Come on. Come on. Come on, oh. You go with D. You go with D. It's your turn,
Now,
buddy.
while I have your attention,
Good boy.
and just
Come
saying,
on, buddy. Here, grab.
It's every day.
Come up a little further.
and it's insane. It's a big
All right,
yard.
you got him.
Oh, she's coming back.
Good boy, oh.
I'm just saying.
Girl towels.
But it is true, you know. You pick the things you're going to do yourself versus the things you're going to pay for. I didn't say anything while you were gone.
You did. I'm sure you did.
Never would. Never, ever, ever would.
What is this?
What did you find?
Piece of.
So anyway, that was the one thing I discovered. The second thing was the bed thing because truly, maybe we could save that for another day. But because that's a really long discussion I feel very strongly about. So maybe we'll save that one for another day. We can do a poll on another day about that.
The other thing I think we do need to comment on
We
is that the house does need to be vacuumed more frequently
because of all the dogs.
because of all the dogs.
Well, because of one dog who sheds
But
like
he sheds, but she sheds too. She sheds too.
She shed.
Cute. But that needs to happen much more frequently.
Much more frequently. I don't know about every day. That's a little over the top.
You are supposed to vacuum 1 day of the week for every living thing in your house.
Okay, now I have to know
One
where
day
you
of the
picked
week for
that
every
one up. Is
living
this
thing in the
Marie?
house.
What's her name?
I don't remember where I heard it.
Probably Marie. What's her name?
Actually, I'm going to credit my friend June White, but I don't know where June got it. But it was one
June got
day-
it in June's
I
head
don't
because
know.
she's the
No,
same
no,
way
no,
you are,
No,
if not
no.
worse.
one day for every
Where did
living
that go?
thing in your house.
I don't remember.
So let's think about it.
I
So we
made
have-
that up in my dreams
So we
last
have
night.
you and me and Gilbert, and then our 3 dogs, which means that you would get 1 day of rest, which would be lovely. But now you have Orfeo, so now that's 7 living things, which means it should be done every single day.
I promise you that of everybody who might be listening to this, there may be one other person in the world who agrees you have to vacuum your house every day.
When you have dogs and your dogs create tumbleweeds, you vacuum your house.
Tumbleweeds. It is not, let me just clarify. It is not like we have tumbleweeds flowing through the living room.
Dust
We
bunnies.
don't have rugs.
Dust bunnies.
We don't have rugs.
I know, but they go, but the
The
hair
thing that
goes
cracks me up
down.
is, to me, they look like a little tiny speck of
No,
dust.
they're
And to
tumbleweeds.
you, they look like tumbleweed.
It's true.
You probably have nightmares of them barreling through the living room.
I do have a little bit of nightmares of what the house is like when I'm not here.
So anyway, this is just one of those typical things that, you know, you're wrong about, but it's okay because over the years, I've been wrong about a thing, I think once, and it's your turn.
I know.
So, hey.
But I have been enjoying my time down in the.
Has it been nice?
Yeah.
Because it's peace and quiet. You can do your singing.
I've been singing every day, 2 hours a day, which is great.
And Finley's a great cat.
Finley's an awesome cat.
So is Gilbert, by the way. I don't
Um,
talk about Gilbert all that much because I'm dog obsessed, but he's a good cat.
No, he's good. You know, it's good.
Yeah.
I crocheted a whole market bag yesterday.
You've never done that before.
I did.
That's like
it
from
was
a pattern.
New,
Like that's not-
It was a brand new pattern, and I love it.
Crocheting is one of those
So
things.
Lindsay has decided that I need to make 12 market bags.
Why 12?
I don't know. She needs 12.
What could she?
I said, Lindsay, this took like 5 hours.
She can't fit 12 bags worth of stuff in her kitchen
No, I think she just wants to have different ones.
to match her outfits.
I don't know.
Hmm.
I
So
don't
the-
know.
What's that? One for each month. There
There
you
you
go.
go.
Your fall bags and your spring bags. Oh wait, you made me think. I was actually going to
But
compliment you on
I am
something.
gonna make some more. You were gonna compliment me on my.
Oh, I love watching
creativity.
crochet. Crochet is one of those things, and I've never learned how to do it. And I don't want to now, kind of on purpose, because I watch you doing it, and it's like watching magic happen. It's really cool because I cannot for the life of me figure out no matter. And you've tried to explain it to me. I'm like, don't bother.
Yeah.
But like I watch like what you do, and it doesn't make sense. Like there's no logic to it. And I know there is.
It's so relaxing.
You will
So
crochet for
relaxing.
hours.
I will. I did yesterday. I finished that market bag. I was like,
you crocheted a blanket
I
so
started
big
that
that
thing-
one time that they didn't even want to use it.
Oh, I did, and I did. I made them.
I'm having fun. I'm just
them
gonna
a
keep
big
going.
blanket, and they're like, it's too big for our living room, so we're putting it on our bed. So then I go up to the bed. It's not on the bed. Well, I think that's because, in fairness,
Well, it's
I think it's
hot.
because it's
I was gonna say
summer.
it's summer.
Yeah.
That makes
But
sense.
it was it's a beautiful Afghan that's on the floor in their closet.
But I like the big ones because I like to double them up. And when I come downstairs, no matter what season it is in this house, it's cold downstairs.
Well, I have another
because-
one. I have one started for you,
Oh, fun.
and I have another one started for them that's going to be a little smaller so they can have it.
And then one of
our
our bonus kids is getting one out in Chicago.
Yes, and I have one that I've just done the first part of a piece for one of our bonus.
Very cool. And so
sons.
there's another example of like I would never crochet. What the thing that brings me peace, like crochet brings you peace, is day trading.
That's weird. It's just weird.
Awesome.
That was a good one. What's one thing that you miss about being here? Like, is there something? And
Yeah.
What's one thing
I-
for you that you miss about having Deb here?
Okay.
Hmm.
It was easy to come up with.
So it was
You first.
like okay. I miss you. I am enjoying some solitude, which is really nice,
Yeah.
but I do miss you. I miss having space around me. I've learned that
yeah.
like I inhabit like
Lots of rooms.
lots of different
Mhm.
rooms in a day. You know, like I go to the music room to sing, and I cook in the
Mhm.
kitchen, and I hang out in the family room, or we'll come down here. Our kids live in a row home in Philly, and it's
beautiful.
adorable. It's really sweet. They've got like one bedroom upstairs and a little office and a bathroom on the second floor, and then the first floor is just like one shot. It's like living room, dining room, kitchen. So
And
when
I
you
love that.
you get up in the morning, I make the bed. I
I
stop.
wonder
at
if they
I-
make the bed.
I
I'm gonna have to ask them that.
I don't know. I make the bed. I stop at the bathroom. I take care of my own personal things. I clean the cat litter. And then I go downstairs. And then, like, you're downstairs. Like,
Mhm.
there's no other reason to go back upstairs except to go to the bathroom during the day.
To my point, why did you make the bed? There's no other reason to go back upstairs until you do what?
Because
Go
when
to
I
bed.
go into that room at night, I see this beautiful, nice bed.
Then you have
and
to
it's nice.
unmake it. It's extra work.
And no, it's really nice. It's nice. What do you miss about me? Tell me something you miss about me.
Something our friend Ron said that his wife says when he's away is, I look forward to missing you. So it's kind of the same thing. So I love the solitude, but I love this. In our house, it's easy to do solitude and you're still here. And so I know you're in the house and I like that.
Yeah.
So it's not that I hate it when you're not here. It's just not the same. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
But what do I think the most probably, I don't get to hear you sing, which is a nice break, like nice thing during the day. So I don't get to hear that.
And somebody isn't cleaning up after you.
Here's the thing. It is nice to be cleaned up after,
Yeah.
but it doesn't bother me when I'm not because I know I'm going to
know.
batch clean it. So I don't miss that. I mean, it's very nice, but I don't like miss it. Like, it's not like, oh my God, I have to do this. I just batch. If I let it go longer, here's the problem with batching. You can let it go longer than you should sometimes. And if it gets to that point, then I'm like, oh crap, I don't want to do this now.
Then what?
That's
and
the
then what?
risk
And
of
then
batching.
what happens when that happens? What goes through your brain?
Come home, Deb.
Come home because I left it too long and it's a
That is
mess.
so true.
I know.
But I do kind of enjoy the rhythm of like having a long list of things to do and just pacing through them nice and slowly. That's kind of nice. But that's what I miss. So
Yeah.
and your charming self is
Thank
what I miss the most.
Okay.
Good question. All right. So Francis asked a really good question and I'm kind of stumped on it. So do you want to go first?
Sure.
How do you set goals? How do we set goals for ourselves, our family, and in life?
And in business and in life.
Business and in life.
So I will tell you. So as much as you know, we can have various feelings about corporate America.
Yeah.
Corporate
Good
America.
and bad.
Good and bad. One of the things that I thought that I think has been very, very useful that I brought from time work
From corporate time?
is the idea of setting SMART goals.
What are SMART goals?
So SMART goals, S for specific,
Mm-hmm.
M for measurable, A for achievable, R for realistic, and T for time bound. So when you look at your goals, so really you'd be kind of defining them along the, in that set of criteria. Like,
So you know if you've achieved them,
so
is
that
that
you
the deal?
know that, yes, so that you to be very specific about when you've achieved it. The beautiful thing, the other thing that I think is quite useful is really setting goals within the context of having a broader vision, a broader purpose for what you're trying to
A
achieve.
mission or a vision
A vision, a vision.
So
if you wanna use
alignment.
that. But it's really
Okay.
about alignment. But I think before you can start setting goals, you have to kind of know what you want. Really
the
have a have a
overall
really
outcome.
clear picture of where you're headed, right? So goals in and of themselves are small and they're little chunky. And,
Yeah. Tasks.
and
there are
ideally,
tasks
you
under
take them
those.
down to the smallest or the biggest chunk that you can count on yourself to actually do.
Yep,
Right?
yep.
Like some people are able to do big chunks, and you can
Mhm.
give them a big chunk, and you know that they'll do it. Other people are like,
I want
yeah,
the steps.
I need those little
Yeah.
reminders along the way. So I'm probably somewhere in the middle. I don't. If I have the chunk is too big and it feels too overwhelming, I will procrastinate till no end.
Yeah.
If the chunk is too small, it's like it's not a meaningful goal for me.
It's a task at that
It's a
point.
task.
Yeah.
So it's like this, finding that nice little middle space where, yep, I'm achieving that next thing, and I can see how it leads to what that vision is.
So how it's moving everything
Yeah,
forward.
how it's moving.
I don't disagree with that at all. I love the SMART goal concept. I don't always remember what they stand for, but I do know you want to be able to measure whether you've achieved it or not in a certain time frame, and you don't want to set something that's too much of a stretch, et cetera. And I think the place where the thing I've learned in corporate, what happened to me anyway, in many corporate situations, is we do all that work like once a year. We come up with the vision, we come up with these goals, we come up our objectives, goals, and everybody had different technology. But you have this beautiful document that was, I mean, everybody agreed, yeah, that's what we need to do. And all the way down to the tasks in the right departments to the right people. And then it would vary. Yeah, there's all the puppies.
Come on, a baby boy.
It would be beautifully bound up. Everybody would get it. There'd be a party. And then it would go on everybody's shelf and sit there until the next year.
Yeah.
And that frustrated the bejesus out of me. So when I came out to the entrepreneur world, I wanted to bring that too. But it's not kind of hard. It's been interesting to take that concept and unbureaucratize it.
Yeah.
And make it really practical. Because when I have clients in the business, I want to make sure I know what their goals are. What are your personal goals? What are your goals for the business?
Right.
What's your vision for the business?
Right.
And then what do you want to achieve this year? But I think what I try and do now out here in the wild is make it a little less formal. So I think the good tension that we have, what do we call it? Constructive tension. Now there's a word, creative tension, creative tension. Is you'll lean more towards a formalized process, and I'll lean more towards too far to the casual, and we end up meeting somewhere in the middle. Certainly in our businesses, that's what we've done. So, but all that brilliant stuff said, wonderful business advice. How did we decide to have a child, which is one of life's biggest goals?
Okay, so
because we both ended up on the same page, but it was a freaking coincidence.
It was so good. So it's funny. I was talking to Francis about this on the drive up this morning.
Goal setting.
Because no, how we made a decision to have a baby. We always wanted children, which is great. And
just for context, if you don't know, we've been together 33 years. 34 years almost. 1991.
Yeah, so 34.
34 years almost, and about 5 years in. No, 6 years in. Well, but we started talking about it about 5 years in.
And I always wanted children.
And how did we decide who was going to carry the child?
Which one of us was more regular? And it was, of course it was me, because
freaking clockwork, OCD, like everything else. I batched my periods, and you did them.
And I did them like clockwork.
Yep.
So what did we do? We decided we wanted to have a kid.
Yep.
We set a goal.
About 1995-ish.
No. We said that, maybe 96, 97. We did not start.
All right.
Yeah, because she was born
Well, we
in
knew
98.
we wanted kids, but we didn't start saying, we're going to plan for it.
And we said we're going to have we're going to do this when we have a certain amount of money in the bank. That was like was the goal. We're going to have a certain amount of money in the bank, and then we'll have kids. And then probably, I don't know, maybe a half a year after we set that goal, I started to like measure my temperature every day. Before I got out of bed, took my basal temperature, and I charted it on a pretty little graph.
And it was a freaking perfect.
And it was a perfect cycle. It was great.
Just like your emotions.
So, don't go there. But it was clear that it was going to be me who was going to carry her.
Oh yeah.
How did we ultimately decide that when it was time? I came home from work one day, and I was sitting on the couch, and I started to cry and said, I want a baby now, and I just want to wait until we have all this money in the bank. We're never going to have enough money in the bank to make this work. And then
I said, oh my God, that's exactly what I was going to say. And I was. We were both we hit that day for whatever reason at exactly the same moment.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I was going to say anything because I didn't want to pressure you, because I knew you were going to carry the baby, and who knows, blah, blah, blah. But we were both like, okay, we're just going to do this.
Yeah.
And so sometimes the best laid plans of mice and men end up getting thrown out the window.
But you,
And I wouldn't trade that non-specific
not at
SMART
all.
goal for anything in the world. So
but I think, you know, in terms of other goals, like that was a big one.
that was unique. Well, that's what it is. The biggest goal we ever had in life.
biggest goal.
Biggest. Yeah. And that one we said, screw it. No SMART goal
But
here.
I think, you know, for the other life goals that we've had, you know, it's been around being very specific around what we really wanted.
Yeah.
And knowing that sometimes in order to achieve your goal, you got to make choices. You have to, you know, some things are going to have to go by the wayside
Right.
and set aside for a little while in order for.
And that's
something else to
actually
come
a
out.
really interesting conversation to have, I think, on another episode, which we will make sure gets into the lineup, is differences in spending and finances. I think that's one of the things that's toughest for couples. It's tough for us.
Yeah.
And I think it's really a good thing to discuss, like when we want to have a really deep, serious conversation, because we've figured out ways to navigate it.
Oh, we totally.
But it doesn't mean it's easy. And it doesn't mean it goes away.
Because we're totally
Different.
Totally
Yep.
different.
And then we're totally different with how we spend on
Anything.
both things we need, things we want, and things that are extravagant.
Yeah.
you
Everything.
know,
We're
relative
different
to our.
about all of the things.
Yeah, and I bet there are a bunch of people out there that are. So,
the-
Francis, we need to note that would be when we're ready to do a serious episode. We can talk about some of the things we've done to navigate it, when it's worked, when it hasn't worked, because it doesn't always work. Sometimes we just fight.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of a 33-year marriage. Is you know you're gonna figure it out, but you're not always going to agree, and that's such an
In
important
the
one.
moment.
I see finances really affect a lot of couples.
It's a stressful.
It's one of the
stressful-
toughest
It's the
ones,
biggest.
yeah.
It's one of the biggest stressors I think people face.
Yeah.
And you know,
It's same thing with
say
entrepreneurs
what
and
you
their
want.
businesses. Like what I'm always telling people, hey, don't avoid your finances, because it ends. I know this because I've done it myself. You know, it ends up haunting you in the end when you kind of just put your head in the sand. It doesn't mean you have to be miserable or scared, but it's a good crossover topic for the Cash Flow podcast.
yeah.
And this
Absolutely.
one. So our amazing producer has come up with a brilliant game that I absolutely love. And we're chuckling because it seemed fun. So they're going to give us a topic or a kind of an area of thought, technology, health, whatever, and then a specific question.
Yep.
And assign us sides of the debate. So I'll get one side, you'll get the other side, and then we're going to make our pitches for our side of the debate.
Okay.
We don't know in advance what the questions are going to be. In this case, we know the question just because he was explaining the game to us.
Yeah.
So Francis, what is our question for today?
Okay, so the question is artificial intelligence a threat to humanity or a boon to progress?
Is artificial intelligence a threat to humanity or a boon to progress?
Yes.
And I've been assigned the threat to humanity role, and you've been assigned
The boon to progress.
the boon to progress
Correct.
role. And we're probably both pretty balanced on this, but could make these debates pretty well. Do you want to go first? Yeah, go first.
I can go first.
Go first, because then I can argue
Yeah.
everything you say.
I don't think that that's really fair. I'm fundamentally speaking, you know, artificial intelligence is only going to be as intelligent as the thing that's kind of putting the information in, right? So it's simply an information aggregator. So I really think the beautiful thing about AI is it will start to relieve people of having to do kind of the mundane and repetitive activities of you know, business and life. If you think simply about how our house uses artificial intelligence.
Go, freaking Alexa.
We have in our house, like every
Stop, Alexa, stop.
stop. We have every different AI in the house.
So true.
But it's brilliant. You know, you don't worry. It automatically opens the skylights when we need to have air because it senses the air quality.
There's CO2 problem or
So
something.
in so many ways, it is helping us to be and live healthier than we've lived before, right? If you look at how we're using AI in the context of our business, you know, the hours that would typically get spent just kind of churning through work, that now can be done, you know, much quicker, leaving humanity with, you know, time to be creative, time to experience like the fullness of life. I think in that regard, AI is creating space for us to be more human. It's creating space for us to have more opportunity to be self-expressing. And so I think it makes perfect sense that to see it as a boon to our progress. It's definitely going to allow us to evolve faster, and spend time in ways that are more meaningful for us as
So you got no fears about
humanity.
how quickly it's advancing? Like, you know
I
how
d-
technology doubles now, like almost every 5 minutes?
Correct. No, I don't worry about the speed of the advancement because again,
Which is interesting because you're a worrier
I
sometimes.
am. I am. I'm also an early adopter for technology.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I like to be, and I think that there are enough people that are going to always be out on the outer edges of this, that I don't think it's gonna get out ahead of us. I don't think it's gonna get out ahead of us, and I truly believe, to the best of my ability, that people are going to find ways to utilize it as a tool,
Mhm.
right? So it's not going to develop into something that, like you see on movies, that's going to like take over the world, shut down your house, turn off your air, and lock you in. But rather, use it as you'd use any other tool.
So, two things I want to say here. The first is very simple. Open the pod bay door. How?
Mm-hmm.
That, to me, is the outcome of AI in this debate, where I'm taking this side. Let it be known I'm only taking this side to have a debate.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you. But outside of that, open the pod bay door. How? That was not a good outcome, and that was AI. And now let's talk about Alexa, because
We
you're
can
right.
talk about
That's
her.
where we deal with what is kind of AI-ish. And you said something like that AI really just summarizes other information that's out there and recategorizes it for us.
And you can ask it to make inferences.
But it learns.
It does.
Yeah,
It
okay, so
does.
AI does learn. So as long as AI learns, to
Well,
me,
and again, learning, right? It may not always make the right connections. It makes connections based on the connections that other people have made.
right.
And
And it does things then with those connections. So
can.
here's my example. Nuclear technology.
Yeah.
Comes along. Ultimately, there's goods and bads around nuclear technology, but there are people who will use that technology for evil. In most of those sci-fi things, it's not just the AI that goes crazy or the robot that goes crazy. Some crazy mind, human mind, is behind it and opens it wide open to be allowed to do it. So if AI can learn, which artificial intelligence can do, then theoretically it can learn from what it's already put together. It could put together something totally wrong. And right now, for example, we tell AI, take this information plus everything else you know and create me an image. All right, so that's easy. But you could also tell it to take everything you know, integrate it, and have this robot drop a rock on the ground. Which means you could also say, take everything you know, integrate it, and have this drone drop a bomb on a house. Or you could just say, take everything you know and do what you think you ought to do with this drone. And it could very easily start to self-instruct itself, is where I'm getting. So right now, it's all human driven, I think, who knows, but very easily, if AI can be taught to do things, it can be taught to teach itself, come to conclusions, and then never reverse out of those conclusions. So I think there is, again, in this debate, I want to clarify, I'm not hoarding water just in case, but theoretically, I can. I do hoard water, but I hoard water for a whole nother reason. Let's be clear. But theoretically, if you just take out all practicality and go theoretically, AI could take over the world. It absolutely could. I mean, it's got the capacity to grow into the thing that could take over the world.
I believe we would have to grant it a certain autonomy, and I don't believe that we will grant AI an autonomy.
By ignorance, we could, because it's moving faster than it's evolving faster than we're evolving. So we have evolution, right? Yeah. We evolve really slowly. I mean, think how long it takes to, whatever.
We are still programmed by the biology of, many, many tens of thousands of
Right.
years ago.
And technology evolves like at exponential times that speed.
Yeah.
So it could get away from us. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it for
Well,
this debate.
I gotta say, I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong.
I believe
It's a good debate, though.
but
Great question, Francis.
I do hope that there's enough skepticism and enough fundamental humanity, yes,
To control it before it gets out of hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
To consider it not as its own entity
Mm-hmm.
with its own set of choices, but actually a powerful, strong,
Mhm.
knowledgeable,
Tool.
whatever tool.
The under our control tool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is an interesting debate. I have a really good friend, Manoj, that I know through Sims Distillery, who has been working in AI since like the 90s. So
Mhm.
like he really understands AI.
Yeah.
And he is a very big proponent of the fact that it's not going to get out of hand. And he has very logical arguments for that. We should have him on as a guest at some time, either on this show or on Cash Flow, because he really articulates it well as to why it's not going to kind of go crazy like that. But there are people equally as passionate. Now, I get that passionate truly when Alexa pisses me off, because Alexa does not always do what you tell Alexa to do. Alexa seems to have a mind of her own.
But she doesn't. But the things that
I'm just saying.
The things we entrust our Alexa with are not things you need to worry about.
They can be pretty frustrating when you can't get a light turned on, especially the way you name our lights in the house. What are the names of our lights, Deb? Frank Lloyd Wright?
No, Frank 1 and Frank 2.
Frank 1 and Frank 2 because the lamps look like.
No, because the lamp is a postmodern. It is a Frank Lloyd Wright.
Mm-hmm. What else are they named, Deb? Seth?
No, Slim.
Oh,
Slim's
Slim.
the lamp
See, I
behind
can't even
you.
remember the names.
This is Bert.
Bert, Slim,
Ernie
Frank,
is upstairs.
Ernie, Lefty, Righty, and
Curly,
Goldilocks.
Lefty, Righty, and Goldilocks are the shades. Then blind 1, blind 2. Those are the.
Yeah, you kind of tanked
those
there,
were,
didn't you?
Deborah Lynn and
Pamela Stiles. Those
in
are
the
our bed
bedroom.
lights.
Lulu in Lindsay's room.
That's Lindsay's nickname.
Ruby and Angel in the red room.
There you go. So what I will do sometimes when Deb's not here and I can't get a freaking light to turn on is I'll stand in the middle of the house and go, Alexa, turn on every fucking light in the house.
Does she do it?
And she does. And then I have to shut them down. But it's just like, wah! Yeah. And then, here's an outcome, right?
No.
Because of stupid Alexa, we have to tape over our light switches, which is an incredibly weird thing for Deb, who likes things neat and clean and crisp. But we have these light switches where all the switches you're not allowed to touch because you'll screw up Alexa are taped over.
And it's only because of the cleaning
you have
people.
Some weird contrasts.
I know which ones I would take off.
You have some very cool contrasts, though.
Covers?
Switch covers.
Oh,
dear God!
Thank you.
Really?
Yeah, I'll look for those, Francis, because that would make me so much happier.
Just plug into the Alexa, and then you don't have to do any of it. Yeah.
That's magic.
Oh no! You mean that actually flip the switch?
Yeah, it actually would. There's not a switch on it. It's just literally a pass.
Oh, like you have no choice? Like I can't even turn it on?
No,
We'd have been.
Turn it on with the thing, but it's like a touchpad, and you touch the.
Oh, you have to work at it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because remember, we couldn't turn this one on.
Yeah, but it also, instead of let's say you leave on your lamp switch and then you hit the thing off, you can turn it back on with Alexa.
Oh, we wouldn't have been trapped like we were. We were down here and you weren't. When you're not here, it's crazy.
Oh, when you guys turned it off at the.
Yeah, because now I just scream, Deb, tell Alexa to do what I want.
Yeah, you can. What if you want to just turn everything off down here? Just tell her to turn off the podcast studio.
Oh, now that's logical. So if I said that now, we'd go black?
If she could hear
If she could hear it. We don't have an Alexa down here.
Yeah, and
we have to tell her before we come downstairs. Okay,
yeah.
Got it.
But there are some things like the tree's not on the podcast studio.
Okay, that we just turn on or plug in?
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. Great question, Francis.
Interesting. All right, now we'll wrap her up.
Okay.
The outro. Close out.
That was a lot of fun.
Always is.
I love doing this. I hope that you like or subscribe or
dogs.
let me do that again. Okay. Why don't you close it out this time?
No, because I don't. Or it's like, subscribe, and
Comment.
comment. So if it's always fun to be able to sit and have a conversation with you. And hopefully you felt like you were a part of our family for today. If you like what you're hearing, please like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you want to hear, because as kind of one of the things we always said is, yeah, we're two women, but like we're just a couple like anybody else.
There's nothing exciting happening
No
here.
thrills happening here. But if you kind of want to get a glimpse into our life, it's an easy way in.
Yeah, and I'll bet you to wrestle with a lot of the same things. So thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome.